Hello. So today we're going to basically propagate my Monstera plant, and as you can see, the rubber plant there on the left kind of suffered a little bit, so we're also going to fix that by cutting it. So I'll demonstrate in a little bit. But I had to reorder some pH down and some fertilizer, though I do have both, so we're going to start that today. As you can see, she is rooted and trying to climb up the wall. It is a climbing plant. So I have these LECA balls that I saved basically from a failed fig tree transplantation. So I do want to retry having a fiddle fig tree in semi-hydroponics. But I do want to start it from a baby. I got an adult fiddle fig and I was just like, no. So what we're going to start with is we're going to rewash these. I had kind of started doing so, but sorry for the sexy bathroom shots. Lazy rinsing hack. Yeah, so we're just putting that on super hot and just letting that rinse out for now, and then I'll put in also the rest too. Okay, so here we've cleaned out the pot and I re-threaded also with brand new thread, boiled and cleaned the LECAs. So I'm just gonna put a bottom layer of these. So you do want to fill the LECA balls a third of the way before putting in the plant, and as you can see, I've pulled the rope through along the way. So what this is going to do is that both the LECA balls and the cord is going to help pull up water through capillary action to keep her fed with just the right amount of water. And also it's going to give it space for the roots to grow down and be strong and healthy. Now we need to re-prep some new hydroponic solution. So what we're going to do for that is take an A and B hydroponic fertilizer solution. So they usually come in 2 different bottle formulas that have to be basically poured and mixed in the water with a 24-hour separation period so that the nutrients don't precipitate. And that's the use of both of these formulas is meant to replace the full spectrum of nutrients that the plant would get from the soil. This Monstera Deliciosa has been in LECA semi-hydroponics for just a little under a year now, and it's really doing great. Like, it just more than doubled in size. I got it for almost nothing because it was kind of dying, and it's really fared beautifully. I didn't want to take the risk with an expensive plant, though I did that with a tiny Monstera elbow, actually a constellation in the back that you can see on the right. So to propagate a Monstera, what we're doing is cutting off right under a node. So you'll see nodes as once they develop, they'll become basically roots. So you can always cut right above. Ideally, you wouldn't cut above a root, but you would cut right above a node, so a little stub that hasn't developed into a root yet, so that it can start creating a new plant, which it did, as you will see in the end shot. We're redistributing our clean LECA balls because one of the good things about them is that once you buy them, you never have to throw them away. You can always reuse them if the plant doesn't make it. And we're also adding a sphagnum moss bowl so that it has something for the roots to latch onto and it doesn't start going off to the side and try to climb up the wall like the original one did. And we're also going to add a pole to the OG. So a couple months later, the plant that has been transplanted is doing great. It limped a little bit for the first 2 weeks while it was in shock. And the mama plant is already sprouting a new juvenile plant, which we'll see. And now we can start on the rubber plant, which is a very different process because we're not going to propagate it. What we want to do is get it to become bushy. So instead of having one long stem, since it's lost most of its leaves at the bottom from lack of sunlight. It used to be in a different place. It's going to stimulate growth from where it dropped its leaves, and hopefully the hope was to get just at least 1 second sprout, because it already had one from kind of just cutting into the stem to try to stimulate the growth, but it just didn't work enough. The top plants were taking too much nutrients. And actually now we have like basically a 3-headed rubber plant, and it's gonna look beautiful. So I say success and highly encouraged. So be very careful when you're cutting a rubber plant, because it produces latex when you're cutting it, so it's going to drip absolutely everywhere. So just be careful with that. And when you're cutting the stem of anything, whether it's the Monstera or the rubber plant, you can take ground cinnamon and basically blot the plant wound with it, and it acts as a powerful antibacterial, and it's going to stop the plant from developing any infections of any kind. And something else that we did to the hydroponic solution of the transplanted Monstera was balance the pH of the water. So that's something that's really important. You can usually find some pretty cheap pH testers in your local gardening or construction homeware store or even online. Usually for hydroponics, you want the water to be between 5.5 and 6 acidity levels. Start simple, start small. Thank you so much for watching today, and I hope you have a beautiful and blessed day.